Hey, this is Aaron with ABTX Outdoors here at 5/8 Shooting Sports in Frankston, Texas. Today, thought I'd do a little something different. I have two similar scopes that I wanted to compare. One is an ARKEN scope and the other is a DNT, the one scope. So very similar looking scopes. Thought I'd bring them both out today at the range, take a look through them, shoot them out to distance, and kind of give you my comparison between the ARKEN and the one DNT scope. Let me show you what I have. I have both these scopes on a 30 cal. I have the one DNT optic on my 308, and I have the EP5 ARKEN on the 300 Win Mag. Very similar looking scopes, same magnification. No, forgive me, magnification is a bit different. On the magnification on the ARKEN scope, we have a 5x25, and on the one DNT optic, we have a 7:35. Now, both 56 millimeter objective lenses, same diameter tubes, all of that's the same. They are very much almost identical looking scopes. All right, so I got both scopes here. This is the DNT one, this is the ARKEN 5x25. This is a 7x35x56, 5x25x56. Other than that, almost identical. The turrets, when you look at them, are almost identical. There is different cuts on the actual top of the turret heads in comparison to both. This one is more, I want to say, rigid on the ARKEN, and on the DNT one it's more of a smooth scalloped kind of a cut, and that's the physical differences that I see. But other than that, they look almost identical. I did just try to rotate the magnification on the ARKEN. It is very stiff compared to the one that has a throw lever that came with it. This little throw lever that came with it, much easier to move. Very, very easy to move, very smooth to move in comparison to the ARKEN. The ARKEN does have the ability to put a throw lever on that. That might make it easier. But again, I haven't really used this ARKEN scope too much, so we really are looking at kind of a head-to-head comparison on the two. I'm going to be using the trigger cam today to put on the optics so you can actually see through it and see what the reticles look like in comparison. And you know, on these budget-friendly long-range scopes, you know, which is the best of the two, or are they so identical that it doesn't matter? You know, I think at the end of the day, both of these scopes do have a purpose. If you're looking for a budget-friendly scope that can get you out to long-range distances, or if you're shooting in like an ELR 22 competition, these would be good option scopes to do it. I run Night Force scopes in my ELR competitions, and the only reason why I do that is just the reliability of the tracking of the turrets. When you come up and down, you know it's always going back to zero. Unfortunately today I don't have the ability to do a tall ladder or a tall target test to see if the tracking comes up and down. I did shoot this for the first time on this 308, and I ran it from 300 yards out to 1,000 and then back down to 300. And I did notice that the DNT scope was a little off on the way back. Could that have been tracking issues, or could that have been the hour difference of environmental slightly changing to cause this 308 to be a couple of minutes off or half a minute off at certain yardages? Don't know. Both these scopes are in a MOA, and the only other difference that I can tell you is that the DNT1 scope has a different configuration of where the 0 is at on the windage. It's more of like a 10 o'clock position if you're looking at it from the side on a clock view, where the ARKEN scope is your traditional 0 right in the middle of the scope body. So let me go ahead, set the trigger cam up. I'll start with the ARKEN scope, and then we'll switch over to the DNT1. Stay tuned. All right, here we are with the ARKEN scope. I'm going to set these both up to film through about 20 power to make them the equivalent. And we're going to go ahead and go all the way out to 1,000 yards for this testing, just so you can see what we're looking at. The best thing to look at, there's a big round gong down there with a red circle in the middle of it that I'm holding dead center on. Go ahead and see if I can adjust it to make it look any better. Again, this is an MOA scope. That's what I use for ELR competitions. I know a lot of people like mills, which mills are great for PRS and quick transitions. But I'm used to MOA. That's about the best I can get on trying to clear that up, just under the 1,000 yard there on the parallax. But to me, that looks very clear. There is a little bit of a wind today. It is kind of humid, so that's why it's a little bit of a mirage going on out there. But this is what the reticle looks like through the ARKEN scope. There's a fine little dot. The first indication on your windage says 8 MOA. So if we count that back, that means the next big line should be 4 MOA. And then there's a space. So the end of that thick bar should be 3. The middle of the bar should be 2. The edge of the thick bar closest to the little dot should be 1. So that is what we're looking at. This should be a 1 MOA size target, and that is correct. However you want to measure that, that is correct. A little left to right wind showing down there. But the flag can trick you, because more than likely it's whipping right to left down there, even though for all these it might be left to right. There's the 1,000 yard sign. There's another 1 MOA size target there, a little over. That's a 1.5 MOA size target. But this is what it looks like. Christmas tree reticle. Again, can you use this to shoot out the distance? Without a doubt. So with that being said, let's go ahead and take a shot out to 1,000 yards and see what it does. All right, for today's 1,000-yard test showing the ARKEN scope, I'm using some leftover 180 grain 300 Win Mag ammo. Just put it into Applied Ballistics to get a rough estimate. I guess the speed right now, but I do have my Garmin set up. So what we're going to do is take a look at what the elevation is recommended, do a test fire down there, and then I'll adjust on the fly from there. I'll get it close and go from there. All right, so it's calling for 29.3 MOA. 300 PRC is usually around 21 to 23 MOA. Makes sense. So let's start with 29. Man, another thing with this ARKEN, when you start to rotate this, it feels very loose. So we'll see. For safety, I'm going to go ahead and take it to 25 MOA, which would hit me low, just to be safe. I know there's a big berm back there. I'm going to start with 25 MOA. I'm going to hold 1 MOA left on the dial, and we'll see what it does. Make sure my camera is recording over here. All right. Go ahead and make sure this is recording. Okay. 300 Win Mag. I've used this gun for 1,000 yards multiple times. I know it's very capable. Just curious if I have the right MOA with this bullet. So we're about to find out. Shooting the big MOA round gong. All right, as I expected, that was high. So I'm going to adjust to that. My calculator was definitely wrong. So I'm going to come down to 22 MOA. It was to the right. I'm going to come over 3. We're going to shoot it again. Another thing, this bullet probably makes sense, 2957 feet per second. I had only calculated it to be 2880. So that's probably part of the problem there. All right, we're going to center back up and I'll let it go. Still looking high. $29.25 on that one. All right, that looked to be 3 MOA low. So let me come up. Let's do it again. Of course, this is hunting ammo. This is not, target or match ammo by no means. Soft point ammo. See if y'all can hear me better just by placing that right there. All right, here we go. Elevation is good. I still need to come left. Good thing we're testing the scope because you can see the splashes. Hopefully that's coming through on the trigger cam. Center back up. I had no call on that one. A little too much smoke. Let's do one more. And that one was way low too. All right, well, at least we got to see what it shoots like with the scope. I think this is just the ammo that we're dealing with at this point. Just kind of throwing lead, round nose, soft points all over the place down there. So fun experiment, but at least we got to shoot with the ARKEN scope. You got to see through it here and see exactly what it's going on. You can't see your impacts. There is a mirage going on just because it's humid today. But let's go ahead and switch over to the next scope on the 308 and evaluate it with the trigger cam. All right, here we have the DNT1. This is the 7x35. But to make sure that we keep it in the same comparison, I am going to keep that right on 20 power, just like the ARKEN scope, so we can get a good comparison. And let me make sure I get this in a good spot for every one of you, and I'll record through here. A little bit different of a setup. All right. See if I can get on this, looking at the same target. Go ahead and hit record here. And let me adjust the parallax. Very similar to the ARKEN. I do feel like this DNT scope, the adjustments are smoother on it. Not as hard. You'll also notice the reticle looks very much the same. There is a difference though being on 20 power between the two. This 20 power, since it's a higher power scope, is going to present smaller, since it's a single focus plane, single first plane scope, just like the other one. So if I were to bump this up a little bit, that would probably be more of an equivalent of what the ARKEN scope looks like, since it's a 25 power and this is a 35 power. Just a slight difference. So I'm going to go ahead and keep it there because that to me looks almost apple to apple. Now I do notice the center dot is a lot finer in the DNT scope, which I do like that over the ARKEN. It also has a different tick marks on windage. So it goes from the single dot to the right, 1, 2, 3, and then the big heavy line is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that is different in comparison to the ARKEN on how it's etched into the first focal plane scope. The Christmas tree reticle looks somewhat familiar, but very close, right? Little subtle differences. I think, in my opinion, this reticle would slightly win over the ARKEN because I like the smaller profile dot in the middle. There's a 1 MOA. Thousand-yard sign. This is with the Mirage going. There's the other little over 1 MOA target. So, what do you guys think? Very similar? Or does this one have a little bit of an edge? Or do you see the ARKEN having a slight edge over this? Alright, what I'm going to go ahead and do now, just like the other one, is I'm going to go ahead and shoot it out to distance, just so that way we can try to see our impacts and splash in comparison to the ARKEN scope. Now, a little different of a test. This is going to be a 308 in comparison to a 300 Win Mag, so there will be a difference in splash downrange, and this is going to take more elevation to get to it. The thing I do like about this DNT, it doesn't feel as loose as the ARKEN does when you're having to do elevation. This one feels a lot more tactile. It feels like it's there. It's not going to be falling apart on you. It's just a weird comparison. This one feels more like what I'm used to with a higher end optic. It feels like you're not skipping anything or anything to that extent. It's dialing right to it. So let me go ahead, put some windage in there, and let me get my other camera rolling. We'll go ahead and shoot it out to distance. All right, for this test, I'm using match grade nozzler ammo, 168 grain. It says at 100 yards or muzzle velocity should be 2750. We'll see. I know I'm going to probably be hitting really low with this right off the bat. Again, I don't think I have everything 100% when it comes to the calculator. I just have it close, and then my goal is just to walk it in from there. So let's lob one down there. Let me get this recording and see what it's like looking through the DNT 1 while shooting a 308. I'm going to see if I can tighten up this Mirage a little bit. That's about it. All right, making sure I'm level. Let's give it a run. Okay, like I thought it'd be low. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's come up. I knew I was going to be low. That was 2568 feet per second. The box, can't believe the boxes, people. 2568 feet per second. Wow, that's like 200 feet per second off on what the box is saying that it would do. That's why I start low with these, because I don't want to put one way over the berm, which it's a huge berm out there, but safety first. All right, I came up. Windage looked actually pretty good. In fact, I'm going to probably cut off some of the wind from what I could see with this. One thing Not sure if I got this pushed, this all the way onto the scope, but it is almost touching me when I shoot. But I'm not putting a lot of pressure on the gun either because I'm keeping it still to view. But let's go ahead and launch this one down there. No call. That's hard to see because the gun, little 20-inch bull barrel, it is jumping on me quite a bit. All right, let me just come back down and see if I can get a splash to go off of again. Yep. I saw it. Take all my wind out and come up. All right. Let's try to hold this one as steady as I can. Still showing I need to come up 4 MOA. All right, let's see. No call. It is rough with these smaller guns. Come back down 2 MOA just to get one on the dirt again. All right, let's see. And of course, we're doing this at 1,000 yards. Yeah. I come back down and I hit exactly where I adjust down to. All right. Let's see where this one goes. I want to switch it up and shoot at this rectangle here, because that's grass down here I think might be eating some of the bullets in the shade here. Let's move to this one and shoot. Oh, still low. Well, anyway, I think we got a test in on this DNT optic. Could see your splashes. There was only a few that I couldn't see, but that was the same with the ARKEN. I think it was just sneaking right underneath that big gong and the shaded area where that grass is growing, where you couldn't see impacts. So that's what this scope looks like at 1,000 yards. Just curious, what do you guys think? Would you pick the DNT, the one optic, which I just got through shooting, or would you prefer the ARKEN? Price points, relatively exactly the same. Match to match, they're exactly the same. I think personally I would give a slight edge to the DNT one scope. I just liked the reticle a tiny bit better, and I like the tactile feel of the turrets on elevation a little better too. And plus it did come with a thumb on the power ring, so that would definitely helps you move the power ring around from magnification from 7 to 35. So that does help. But under recoil, you can jump back on target pretty good. I am shooting this gun suppressed. The other one had a good break on it, but both you were able to see impacts at 1,000 yards. So, what's your opinion? Leave it in the comments and let me know.